Okay, we're back, and 23 minutes into the flight. We think we're only 3 minutes possibly away from descent. We're currently 136 nautical miles away from San Francisco. We're kind of snaking along the coast here. It's a straight shot to San Francisco on our current heading, and since it's maybe only 2 minutes away from descent, I'm going to go ahead and make a cabin announcement.
I'm off ATC for the PA.
Check.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain speaking. We'll be starting our descent into our destination here in just a few minutes, so please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
Okay. And now it looks like we are only 12 nautical miles away from top of descent. And in this particular simulation, we're not going to request permission to descend. The ATC is basically going to vector us down, and they're going to tell us when to start our descent. So, we've still got a headwind, which is good, in my opinion, because it means we won't have to circle around to land against the wind, more than likely on the ground. So, I expect us to land on a runway with a heading that pretty much matches the heading that we are right now. But that also means that since we're not going to have to circle around, we're going to have to slow down pretty quickly and not dilly-dally around, if you will, on our approach. And a good rule of thumb for determining when to start descending is to use what they call the rule of three, which is basically for every 30 nautical miles away from the airport that you happen to be, you want to be at the number of 30 nautical mile iterations that you are times 10,000 feet in altitude-wise, or less. So, for instance, when we are 90 nautical miles away from the airport, of course we're only 117 nautical miles away right now, we would divide that 90 by 3, and we get 30, and so we want to be at least 30,000 feet or less altitude-wise in order to be in a position to land. So we've been told to begin our descent and to go to 26,000 feet. So I'm going to acknowledge that. And if we had on our LEX page, if we had altitude and speeds entered into our flight plan, we could use a VNAV descent. But I don't have that, so I'm going to cheat and use FLCH.
Level change.
FLCH stands for Flight Level Change. And basically, you dial in a speed and an altitude, and it will seek that altitude and that speed. And it's telling me to expedite our descent, so we want to maximize our vertical speed. But it's basically going to pick a vertical speed based on the airspeed and the altitude that you've dialed in, and you also have manual control of the throttle, and which I've idled. So we begun our descent, and if we look on our progress page, we estimate landing at 1648 Zulu. That's in approximately 22 minutes, and we probably want to go ahead and let operations know. So let's see if I can dial in the company. I'm going to bring up the communications radio here. And
I'm off ATC for the company.
Check.
Operations, this is JetSet 266. Do you read?
Jet 266, go ahead.
JetSet 266 estimates landing at 1648, and we require 1 wheelchair Romeo, 1 wheelchair Charlie, and 2 Sierras with a meet and assist required for an unmanned.
Roger, Captain. I copied the specials. Your gate today is Alpha 1, and there is no delay for your return flight.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you.
All right, so we also told operations not only the estimated landing time, but we advised them of the specials being unaccompanied minors or wheelchair requests. So I'm gonna increase our speed a bit here so we can maximize our vertical descent rate. We kind of want to get to the ground in a hurry. And once we start our approach, there's going to be a little indicator here, a vertical indicator with a diamond, and if the it represents basically our glide path down to the ground, and it bases that on the distance away from the airport and our current altitude. And that's totally separate from the ILS, but it'll give us a good idea as to whether we're on target. But we also use the rule of 3, and now we're below 30,000 feet, and we're still more than 90 nautical miles away. So that tells us that we're okay. I'm going to continue to increase our airspeed as we now descend through 27,000 feet. Headed for 26,000 feet, so we're getting an altitude chime now, and we're going to level off. So we're probably now going to be clear to a lower altitude. Works much the same way as the climb out did. They're going to keep on assigning us lower and lower altitudes until we get until we start our approach. And in a few minutes, okay, they've cleared us to 16,000. So at this point, I'm going to activate FLCH again.
Level change.
And might as well go ahead and accelerate to 320 knots. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the turn on the fasten seatbelt sign, indicating our initial approach, as if the passengers weren't already aware that we were descending. And actually, I think we're going to break away now to save memory space and battery time here. And I'll come back and be back with you once ATC radios us with approach vectors. They'll give us a heading to seek, as well as a runway to expect for landing.